Hey guys, in this video, I'll be showcasing 20 underrated boss battles that I know about. Each of these bosses comes with unique mechanics that can enrich your mod pack with even more amazing content. Let's take a look at the towering menace of the desert, the Sandworms. This mod brings the legendary creatures from the Dune franchise straight into Minecraft, and they do not disappoint. These massive, eyeless beasts rely on vibrations to hunt. That means the moment you start wandering the desert, you're already being tracked. Once they lock on, they erupt from the ground beneath your feet, launching you sky high in a violent ambush. Their size? Practically the scale of an entire village. So yeah, expect to get tossed around like a ragdoll. Honestly, this might just be the most oppressively intense boss in this whole video. To take one down, you'll need to bomb its head with TNT. But the catch is, you might have to use yourself as bait. If the worm gets hit, it will thrash violently and let out a thunderous roar. It usually takes 4 to 5 well-placed hits to bring down this desert behemoth. And the best part? You don't even need high-tier gear to win. Just solid timing and a few TNT blocks. Compared to other boss fights, this one isn't about weapons. It's about guts, patience, and a little desert chaos. If you think you're up for it, go face the sandworm, and try not to blink. The Wilted is a monstrous cousin of the Creaking. Once bound to the Pale Garden, it has now fused permanently with its own heart, breaking free to wander the overworld on its own. In the dead of night, the Wilted will hunt us down, grabbing us with its twisting vines and violently thrashing us against the ground. Unless we do something quickly, this brutal attack continues until it claims our lives. But every monster has its weakness, and for the Wilted, it's light. Any nearby light source causes the Wilted to burst into flames, sending it into a frantic panic as it desperately attempts to smother the offending glow with its vines. Beyond being vulnerable to light, it is nearly invincible, shrugging off nearly all physical attacks. Our goal in this battle is simple yet intense: survive. We must endure the endless night until the first rays of dawn finally break over the horizon. When sunlight arrives, it becomes our ultimate weapon. The Wilted, trapped and exposed, loses its sanity as sunlight ignites its body. It flees chaotically across the landscape, unable to escape its fiery fate, until finally melting away beneath the warmth of morning. So for those still trapped in darkness, hold strong, keep fighting, and remember, the sunlight in your life will rise one day too. Skell, the Skeleton King, appears draped in a mysterious robe, his tall, slender form immediately prompting curiosity about what lurks beneath. Throughout the fight, Skell constantly summons his loyal skeleton soldiers. These minions come in 2 flavors: melee skeleton knights and stationary skeleton turrets. While the turrets relentlessly rain arrows from afar, the knights expertly wield shields, blocking your shots with frustrating precision. But now comes the best part. When you've finally chipped away all of Skell's health, his robe shatters dramatically, revealing a hilarious secret. The towering Skeleton King was actually being carried around by another smaller skeleton beneath him all along. Once the bottom skeleton is defeated, Skell panics, trembling comically as he tries desperately and unsuccessfully to flee. His soldiers continue to defend their cowardly king, but catching and finishing him off becomes easy from this point. All in all, it's a delightfully humorous boss battle that'll leave you laughing mid-fight. Now entering the scene is Laelaps, a deadly predator built for the hunt. With underdeveloped forelimbs, it relies entirely on its powerful legs to close distance fast, leaping across the terrain with terrifying speed, before latching on with its massive tooth-filled jaws. Its bite doesn't just deal damage, it also inflicts nausea and poison. So make sure to bring some milk if you want to stay in the fight. Laelaps is fast, agile, and clever. Once it marks you as prey, expect it to circle, dodge, and strike from unexpected angles. When enraged, it launches itself high into the air and slams down like a living missile, jaws first, causing a small explosion on impact. And if it grabs you mid-attack, you'll be hit with blindness, adding to the chaos. The lower its health gets, the more relentless and frequent its attacks become. So, if you're looking to spice up your wilderness with a nimble, ancient nightmare, Laelaps definitely deserves a spot on your list. Just try not to end up as its next meal. This boss looks like he stepped straight out of Dark Souls 3, bearing an uncanny resemblance to none other than Prince Lorien himself. As soon as you enter the castle's shadowy interior, he teleports from a high platform to confront you directly, setting the intense tone for the battle ahead. His moveset faithfully captures Prince Lorien's signature attacks. Teleport Slash. He instantly blinks in front of you, bringing down a crushing overhead strike with his great axe, creating immediate pressure and demanding swift reactions. Spinning Barrage. Transforming into a lethal whirlwind, he sweeps across the battlefield with relentless spinning strikes, cutting down anything in his path. Charged Slam. Raising his massive axe, he unleashes a blazing pillar of fiery light that surges forward, devastating anything caught in its path. Once you reduce his health below half, the fight enters phase 2, and he becomes completely unhinged. From this point onward, his attacks become faster, more relentless, and significantly harder to predict. Teleportation attacks happen more frequently, slashes hit harder, and flames erupt with nearly every movement. If you're craving a true Souls-like boss experience within Minecraft, this formidable foe is precisely the epic challenge you're looking for. The Ravenous is an alien-inspired horror boasting a terrifying 6-stage evolutionary cycle. Just like a true xenomorph, it hunts by sound alone, blind but keenly aware of your every move. This creature doesn't just evolve, it progressively mutates as it takes damage. With every attack you land, it grows stronger, larger, faster, and more aggressive. Its jaws widen, its claws extend, and its roars become so powerful they inflict actual damage. Attacking it blindly is never a good idea. Initially emerging with 2 arms, it gradually sprouts additional limbs directly from its twisted body, growing ever more dangerous. If you're not quick enough to finish it off, you'll watch helplessly as it evolves. First 4 arms, then 6, then 8. Until finally, a deadly, spike-covered tail emerges as its ultimate weapon. Once fully evolved, the Ravenous surpasses even the Warden in raw power. Its multitude of limbs grant terrifying speed, allowing it to rapidly close in on prey. And if you appreciate stunning animations, this creature's evolutionary transformations are easily among the best Minecraft has ever seen. Next up is the Swamp Overlord, Clayfish. This towering swamp beast is even larger than a Ravager, and when it spots a player, it becomes wildly aggressive. Armed with massive claws, it specializes in wide sweeps, slam attacks, and sneaky ambush maneuvers that keep you constantly on edge. It also spits out toxic bubbles, which poison the player on contact, making every close encounter even more dangerous. And while it doesn't display a health bar by default, make no mistake, this creature has more strength than many boss-tier mobs. Even using firearms against it can feel like you're just scratching the surface. With a health bar mod, you'll see its HP clocks in at a staggering 400 points, confirming its status as a true swamp tyrant. So if you're heading into the wetlands, stay alert, stay armed, and don't underestimate the Clayfish. Now let's take a look at this beautifully textured terror of the night, Nehemoth, a gargoyle born of darkness. During the day, it remains completely still, like a statue carved in stone, immune to all damage. But as night falls, it lets out a deafening roar and fully awakens, revealing its true monstrous nature. Nehemoth boasts immense leaping power, often launching high into the air before crashing down in a devastating ground slam that scatters blocks and players alike. Its razor-sharp claws inflict bleeding, and worse, it can grab players mid-combat to drain their life force. Thankfully, its health isn't particularly high, but don't underestimate the sheer pressure it exerts in battle. And if you venture into the Soul Sand Valley, you'll encounter a nether variant, a Soulfire-infused Nehemoth. These versions can fire piercing blue lasers, making them far more dangerous than their overworld counterparts. Face multiple Nehemoths at once, and you've got a real problem on your hands. Anyway, their models and animations are top tier. If you're looking for a terrifying Lord of the Night, Nehemoth is more than worthy of the title. Introduces Pigzilla, the gigantic and fearsome evolution of the humble Minecraft pig, now grown to terrifying proportions and attacking everything in sight. Besides Pigzilla itself, there's also a biting pig that can evolve into Pigzilla after defeating several mobs. Pigzilla wields devastating attacks. Tusk Attack launches mobs high into the air. Stomp Attack creates powerful shockwaves that ripple across the ground, damaging everything nearby. Laser Beam. When enraged, Pigzilla fires colossal laser beams from its mouth, capable of destroying every block along their destructive path. Crushing Leap. Pigzilla leaps skyward before slamming down with its enormous body, crushing anything beneath its massive frame. So, if you suddenly notice the sky darkening above, it's probably not storm clouds, but a gigantic pig about to crash down on you. Facing Pigzilla one-on-one is a truly intimidating experience. Its massive size, comparable to multiple houses, causes the ground to tremble with every step. With tusks as thick as telephone poles, this colossal beast relentlessly attacks every living creature unfortunate enough to enter its view. Alright guys, buckle up, because apparently Minecraft wasn't painful enough. Someone decided it needed a little sprinkle of Dark Souls misery on top. This mod is basically the final boss fight from Dark Souls 3 ported directly into Minecraft. Yup, the soul of Cinder himself. Step into the massive, ominous structure known as the Kiln of the First Flame. It looks impressive, but spoiler alert, it's basically your funeral site. At the heart of this epic arena sits our good friend Soul of Cinder, who kindly waits until you get close enough before politely standing up to demolish you. And this guy, he's got more moves than your overly enthusiastic Zumba instructor. Standard sword mode. He swings that fiery sword faster than your Wi-Fi drops during an important game. Quick combos, sudden lunges, jumping strikes. Basically, he doesn't want you having fun. Magic mode. Suddenly he's Gandalf on caffeine, shooting crystal soul spears and magic missiles while still slicing you like a master chef preparing his specialty. Pan-seared player. Spear dancer mode. He's twirling around with a flaming spear like he's auditioning for Cirque du Soleil. Except you're the only clown on stage getting poked repeatedly. And if you think you've got his moves figured out, he'll switch stances without warning, because predictability is apparently overrated. But wait, there's more. At half health, he decides it's cosplay time, and transforms into Gwyn, the original Lord of Cinder. Now, he swings a flaming greatsword faster than you can say, "Wait, let me heal." Every hit explodes with fire, and just when you think you're safe, he'll toss out a lightning spear like it's Casual Friday in Anne Orlando. This mod is literally the ultimate final exam in Soulsborne combat. Each attack, every transition, every frustrated scream you'll inevitably let out, they're all carefully recreated. This isn't a fight, it's a traumatic bonding experience. So, if your therapist told you to avoid stress, maybe skip this one. But if you want an epic, hair-pulling, controller-smashing, keyboard-breaking battle that'll remind you why Get Good is still sound advice, give this mod a spin. Just keep some tissues nearby. For the tears, obviously. Now we're facing off against the Gocublug, a quirky yet formidable boss composed entirely of 3 stacked, mossy cobblestone creatures. At first glance, this thing looks like some kind of bizarre turret, each segment progressively smaller, with the upper 2 layers wielding iron swords. To defeat the Gocublug, you need to dismantle it piece by piece, from the bottom up. Throughout the battle, it continuously spits out living mossy cobblestone blocks, known as blugs and blood cannons, that roll toward you, summoning spikes from the ground to restrict your movement. And yes, there are a lot of these annoying little guys. So bringing along some area effect weapons might be your best bet. Once you've inflicted enough damage, the Gocublug's bottom layer crumbles, leaving its sword-wielding middle and top layers exposed and vulnerable. Keep up the pressure, destroying the sword-bearing layers next, until you're left facing just its final remaining head. When the last segment is finally defeated, the whole structure collapses dramatically, and all those pesky blugs and blood cannons lose their animation, reverting to ordinary, harmless stones scattered across the battlefield. Next to appear is a mysterious Illager mage who, at first glance, looks like nothing more than a child. But don't be fooled. The Arch Illager may look like a stunted infant, but its true nature is far more terrifying. In battle, this pint-sized sorcerer surrounds itself with a magical shield, dodges your attacks with quick teleports, and retaliates with arcane projectiles that chase you down mid-combat. But summoning is where it truly shines. It conjures a radiant barrier, which quickly splits into Illager bodyguards. If you don't deal with them fast, their numbers will snowball, flooding the arena with pillagers, guards, and all sorts of new Illager units. Worse yet, it sometimes fires a devastating star-shaped spell, capable of one-shotting an unprepared player. So never let your guard down. Drop its health below 50%, and the mask comes off. You'll witness its source of power, a demonic abyssal entity lurking within. When threatened, the demon consumes the mage, or perhaps more accurately, wraps its own body around him. From this point on, the fight becomes brutal. The demon unleashes rapid-fire arcane blasts, deadly beam attacks, and blinks across the battlefield, striking when you least expect it. Make no mistake, this is a nightmare-level boss fight. And if you're using vanilla weapons, you're probably not making it out alive. Should you somehow manage to defeat it, the demon lets out a final shriek, collapsing into a swirling vortex before detonating in an explosion that takes the Arch Illager down with it. Good luck, you're going to need it. After facing the Desert Behemoth, it's time to meet the Mechanical Behemoth, a walking war machine straight out of a nightmare. This mod introduces the MechMonstrosity, a massive redstone-powered mech inspired by the redstone monstrosity itself. Normally dormant, it lies in deep slumber until provoked. But once attacked, its self-defense protocol kicks in, and then all hell breaks loose. Upon awakening, this colossal construct unleashes a barrage of cannons and missiles, pounding enemies with relentless firepower. It charges, punches, fires rockets, and throws its weight around like a machine possessed. Like its code has gone haywire, and it's venting every bit of rage at you. Its entire body is clad in armor, so even firearms will struggle to wear it down quickly. One of its signature attacks involves slamming both fists into the ground, sending out shockwaves that damage everything within range. As its health drops, its behavior becomes even more aggressive, switching to brutal chain charges that can shred your HP in seconds. All in all, if you're looking to add a cool, high-impact mech boss to your mod pack, MechMonstrosity is the perfect pick. Just be ready for chaos, because this thing doesn't go down without a fight. The next boss is none other than the Stray Demon from Dark Souls 1. Wielding a massive great hammer, the Stray Demon specializes in wide-range shockwave attacks that can shake the entire battlefield. Your best bet? Rely on evasive movement and clever positioning to dodge its devastating blows. Thanks to this mod's combat mechanics inspired by Epic Fight, dodging and outmaneuvering are not only possible, they're essential. But be warned, if you get hit, the sheer impact will knock you to the ground, leaving you wide open for follow-up attacks that are brutal to escape. If you're familiar with Souls-like games, you'll know the drill. Circle around, look for openings, and strike when it's safe. Patience and footwork are the keys to victory. Defeat it, and you'll earn its great hammer, a heavy weapon capable of knocking lighter mobs to the ground with each blow. A worthy reward for surviving this colossal clash. Now entering the arena is the Deer God, a sinister, souls-inspired boss creature with an eerie presence and a flair for the dramatic. To summon it, you'll need to place a deer skull on the ground. Once it senses a nearby player, the Deer God descends to possess the skull in a haunting ritual. Honestly, the way it makes its entrance is already a highlight. It appears with one arm clearly damaged, missing its hand entirely, while the other grips a lantern, its signature weapon. With brutal swings, it can send you flying. And while this attack is hard to dodge, there's a silver lining. After each slam, it needs time to reset the lantern, giving you a chance to strike back. Once it loses a chunk of health, it dissolves into shadow and retreats temporarily, calling in loyal followers to harass you during the downtime. Clear them out, and the Deer God returns for round 2. In phase 2, it regenerates to full health, but now that damaged arm sprouts a massive claw. It uses it to launch you into the air mid-sprint, chaining together punishing juggles with relentless momentum. The tempo picks up, the aggression ramps up, and the pressure doesn't let up. From the haunting summoning ritual to the seamless phase transition, and even its death animation, every detail feels polished and immersive. If you're a fan of Souls-like bosses, you'll definitely want to test your skills against the Deer God. Alright guys, buckle up, cause today we're dealing with Minecraft's weirdest fever dream yet. A giant, interdimensional flying squid called the Subcaelic Dux. First things first, meeting this squiddy menace isn't as easy as just strolling into the ocean with a bucket of fish. No, you've got to build yourself a little robot friend called the Starcleaver Golem. Basically a Roomba with dreams of mining asteroids. Picture this, a robot equipped with a giant drill, a firework-powered jetpack, and built-in storage compartments. Sounds like the ultimate space miner. Well, bad news. This golem isn't going anywhere useful. As you launch your ambitious little robot buddy toward the stars, you'll quickly discover that the heavens have other plans. Your robot will crash headfirst into some cosmic resistance, and boom, the sky itself tears open, welcoming you to what I assume is Squidward's angry cosmic cousin's dimension. Suddenly, the world around you is bathed in a surreal, opalescent fog, straight out of a sci-fi painting. The grass transforms into a sickly yellow color. Think radioactive lemonade, and the trees get covered in a weirdly lifeless sheen, as if they've just discovered Mondays. The land itself is gradually being star-bleached, which is a fancy way of saying it now looks like someone spilled a cosmic bag of Skittles everywhere. And there it is, the Subcaelic Dux, hovering majestically yet ominously in the skies. It's technically neutral, like your neighbor's overly aggressive chihuahua, but a giant, flying squid, and it'll start firing explosive torpedoes at your face, because apparently it wasn't intimidating enough on its own. If you manage to defeat this colossal cephalopod, don't celebrate too early. Upon death, this thing doesn't just vanish quietly into squid heaven. Nope, it crashes to the ground like a fleshy missile, nuking the entire surreal landscape it just created. And as a final act of cosmic spite, all of its little subcaelic torpedoes will also kamikaze the area, as if this weird fever dream ever existed. To wrap things up, let's dive into the chaos of these 4 mutant bosses. First, the Mutant Husk, the undisputed leader of the Desert Husks. It summons swirling sandstorms that blanket its territory, drastically slowing our movement and allowing the vanilla husks it calls upon to easily close in. It loves slamming the ground repeatedly and hurling enormous sand blocks our way. Continuous attacks will knock it down briefly, giving us some precious breathing room, but never let your guard down. The sandy terrain makes it hard to maneuver, so attacking from a distance is highly recommended. Next up is the Mutant Jungle Zombie, a wild beast whose arm has transformed into a deadly, extendable vine, functioning as its ranged weapon. Its other hand delivers relentless punches up close, engulfing us into submission. When hurt, it collapses to the ground but releases a toxic gas cloud for protection, making it nearly impossible to approach. Even as it lies there, the poisonous fumes continue spreading, clouding our vision. Occasionally, it uses the gas's cover to leap out unexpectedly, entangling us with its vine arm and dealing continuous damage. Meet the Mutant Hoglin, a massive Hoglin variant whose massive front limbs look strong enough to rival even a Ravager. But don't underestimate those smaller back legs. A swift backward kick packs incredible knockback power. It smashes its powerful front limbs into the ground repeatedly, creating shockwaves that send us airborne. When enraged, its eyes glow fiercely, attacking faster as its fury grows. Among all these mutant mobs, it might just be the most oppressive fight of them all. Happy hunting, brave warriors. Finally, the mutant frozen zombie emerges, a zombie mutation adapted to survive sunlight by dwelling in icy wastelands. Alongside summoning smaller zombies to help, it conjures a freezing blizzard swirling around itself, hurling giant snow blocks to freeze us solid. Sometimes, it smashes both fists into the ground, spawning sharp icicles everywhere, limiting our movement further. To compensate for its weaker ranged attacks, it can pick up and fling single large ice spikes directly at us, ensuring there's never a safe moment to rest. These mutant bosses deliver incredible battles. Good luck, and may you survive these monstrous encounters.